Episode 262 of the TV Dudes podcast, Disney Plus minus Mandalorian.
You know, we have kind of an edit to our roster tonight. We seem to be missing our Randalorian. Got it in! Took me like 2 seconds.
Really wanted to make that Randalorian joke, and there it is.
Randy is driving a baby whatever Yoda is up to Dallas, I think. and so he's not with us.
Yep, that's where his family is, and he's making several stops at Buc-ee's because I've already talked through like what he does on road trips because he has kids. So if you guys don't know what Buc-ee's is, it is. I think they're only in Texas, but they're these gigantic truck stops, and they have everything.
They have all the bathrooms.
Oh, yes.
I think eventually they'll still all actually be in Texas, but they'll have sprawled out to encompass other states. They're huge. You can get lost into Buc-ee's.
200 gas pumps. It's idiocracy levels of gas.
Oh, it really is. It really is. I hadn't considered it like that.
And what is your favorite Buc-ee's snack?
I don't know. Their barbecue's actually really good.
Beaver nuggets.
Oh, God.
Oh, you gotta go with beaver nuggets.
I'm sorry. Can we just hold on for 1 second? The gas station does barbecue?
Yes,
Oh,
it
yeah.
does.
In fact,
And a deli.
Wow.
My favorite snack is the smoked pork tenderloin cheese cup with pretzels.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, they're delicious.
Sometimes I forget that New England is a different part of America until you say things like that.
Oh.
Yes. So this episode we will be discussing all of the stuff that's on Disney Plus that is not The Mandalorian.
Out of respect for the Randalorian.
Out of respect for Randy, who will really want to talk, and I'm sure we will catch up on Mandalorian on its own. So this episode we'll be talking about The World According to Jeff Goldblum, Encore with Kristen Bell, The Imagineering Show, Gabby Duran and the Unsittables, which is a Disney show we're talking about extra special because of our guest filling in for Randy. We've got Dimitry Pompée, a writer on the show.
I am a staff writer on Gabby Duran, and I'm only going to say wonderful things about it because it's amazing.
We also were lucky enough to interview Valerie Ortiz, who plays Gabby's mom on the show, and so you can go check out that interview as well.
You can really think of me as an understudy for Randy. I'm just going to talk about how great Terriers was for like an hour.
That's actually in the contract. If you fill in for Randy, you have to.
All right, well, strap
it's confusing.
in,
A lot of people haven't seen Terriers, and they just wing it.
I was just going to make it up.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's a show about dogs.
But before we get to that, we are the TV Dudes. I'm Kyle.
I'm Les.
I'm Lisa.
And I'm not Randy. I'm Dimitri.
You're our special guest.
Yeah, indeed.
Always so much
fun. Our insider. Somebody who can shine a light on the television industry.
Which is funny because when it comes to specific things about my contract, I'm not going to say a thing. But I'll be very general.
I think I've already asked you like 80 questions, and I don't think any of them come near like Disney or your show. It's all like, what's like the dipshit in the writer room? Like, what kind of hat does he wear? Like, how do you tell that guy?
I just assume like there's a big head looking dude with like a giant big gulp in the back of the room, like Silicon Valley style. That's just
yeah, with Cheetos.
I'm feeling personally attacked.
I see the Cheeto dust on you.
What I really enjoy about writing for television is that I used to work for the Pentagon. I used to work for the Navy in a lobbying position, and I am more tight-lipped about this television gig than I was about our national security.
That's interesting, yeah.
That's a fact.
That mouse shares a lot of similarities with the admirals, and because I got to tour the Pentagon with you one time,
that's right.
And it's just a giant museum to like all the guys who worked there before you got there. Just like employee of the month painting after employee of the month painting.
I notice when I watch like television shows on television, if some actor talks out of school or somebody talks trash about they're gone. They're off the show. Their name's off the credits. Oops, their character died. But when I watch the government on TV, people seem to talk shit all the time. Nobody loses a job.
Yeah, loose lips get you a promotion.
Right? So yeah, that tracks. So let's start out with World According to, Jeff... Goldblum? I've only watched the first episode of this. It is exactly what I thought it would be. It is Jeff Goldblum being exceedingly weird, looking at everything in the world as if he has just discovered how to be human. It's like a Nathan Pyle comic, just walking around out there.
He is very alien in like all those scenarios.
Yes, I mean, he's going to request sauce on his leaf tearings or whatever for like.
Yeah, the ice cream.
Yeah. So I haven't watched the ice cream one yet. I'm dying to because having worked in an ice cream shop, I really.
Yeah, you really should have worked at Amy's.
Yeah.
But yeah, so by the time we're recording this, there's 3 episodes. There is shoes.
Tennis shoes.
I'll watch the sneakers one.
Yeah. Ice cream.
And then tattoos.
Yeah. And then with each one of them, he comes with his own childlike or maybe alien-like sense of wonder and explores the topic from different angles. I mean, some of them... So it's some stuff you've seen if you are on YouTube, but it's really presented in this neat package where he gets about 7 or 8 segments in there that explore each of these topics. And for people who don't know, didn't see the sneaker documentary that came out, like Sneakerheads a couple years ago, that's kind of like a crash course in these crazy sneaker collectors.
I felt like this scratched a similar itch as Mark Summers.
How to tie your shoes.
Yeah, like how it gets made, how to tie your shoes, like all the weird deep dives into things that shouldn't. Yeah.
Did you guys ever see How to Tie Your Shoes?
No.
Okay, so there's this amazing other show. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah.
And it had different episodes. And it would you know how to tie your shoes. You know how to make ice.
They had one on handshakes.
But they would go down into
way
down.
And it was,
and you were like,
the whole argument of
about
it was the
tying
guy that did the
shoes.
comic Get Your War On, if you remember that comic. Middle Age Riot is what he does now. But yeah, I think he hosted it and wrote it. And they deep dive into things you think you know how to do. Like everybody knows how to
open the door was fun. I never opened the door the wrong way. Like you can look,
interesting.
And now this is a...
Tell me there's a peanut butter and jelly episode.
I don't know.
No.
That would be a good one.
Mark Summers, I think, also did a How It's Made show. And this I don't know, this got the same kind of thing as that, only Goldblum seems to have seen everything on the planet for the first friggin' time. And watching other people try to deal with him, like watching the guys at Adidas or Adidas, as he says it.
He actually says that?
Oh, yeah. He stands
Yes.
out in front of the building like Adidas. Or Adidas, as some people call it. And like, God, you're so weird.
They do say Adidas in France, though. That is how they say it.
Is it?
I
just assumed
thought
it was
the
Goldblum
A was
being-
pronounced like a P and it was pretentious.
What?
Watching those guys in the sneaker lab behind Adidas is crazy. I had no idea what their R&D lab looked like. That's nuts, and all the custom made shoes, which now makes the whole shoe blowout thing in the ball game a year ago or so even crazier because those are all hand stitched shoes.
Oh no!
Wow, yeah.
And but yeah, watching them try to get him to be normal, that's been the most fun part of the
He
show
was
to
a
me.
great actor, though. Did you see?
That was
He
actually really
passed
cool.
The test of
Oh yeah, with the eyeglasses.
feelings.
So yeah, they have him put on. So
Feelings tester.
yeah, they when they make these shoes for athletes, they say that a huge part of whether or not the shoe works isn't the tech of the shoe; it's whether the athlete is comfortable with. Like, if you like it,
That
you
wow
won't
factor.
be weird and tense and run weird or whatever. And so that's half of the success of it. So they have this like weird sci-fi Black Mirror type like monitor
Super
helmet
Black Mirror,
that they
dude.
put on him where you're like, oh yes, it's gonna go fine. You're gonna have a grain eventually, jackass.
Cookie.
And they measure your emotions, and it's like disgust and joy and he's like, okay, let me just see if I can just do them. And he just picks the shoe up and like disgust, and it like disgust just like
Contempt.
yeah, or contempt. That's what it was. And joy. But like I think joy came through as curiosity for him.
Happy
or something
well,
like
it probably
that.
did come through as curiosity. I'm so excited.
But it was really wild. Like, the Adidas guy was like, yeah, you might look into acting, man. You're pretty good at this.
So about that part of the episode, right after that, they have him run on this sensor track. And speaking of being a good, that cannot be how this guy really runs.
Stop hopping.
Like with his, stop hopping. Like he's flailing his arms like, It's like, just run across the path.
Right.
This is how I run.
And there's like a slightly tense moment where you can tell he wants to argue with him of like, this is running. Stop telling me to run. And they're like, no human naturally runs like that. We look at a lot of people who run, man.
Don't tell him he's normal.
Like the whole computer database here says you're not running.
It's true. They made him do it several times.
They did.
I'm sure they cut out the extras,
God.
you know?
It felt really real. I was like, that guy really runs like how I imagine the Grandmaster would run.
Yeah. I think you would if Jeff Goldblum moved into your neighborhood and was out for a morning jog. I think you'd clock him from blocks away. Like you'd know his gait immediately. Like, what is up with my neighbor? That's Jeff Goldblum.
How does somebody stay in that good a shape who doesn't obviously do any cardio?
Well, it's a skin suit for his alien.
It's Fred Savage.
The mystery is solved.
The mystery is solved.
You know, something I love about this show, the title cards and the graphics, all the infographics and all the animations are top notch. And each episode so far has had its own theme. So they're not using like a stock package. Like everything is custom and made for each episode. It looks really cool.
As if
Canva
Disney
or something
Plus has
like
money to burn.
No.
They're at least Canva Pro. I mean, it's Disney.
Wait, is that like a stock site?
No, it's a design generation templates.
Oh, actually,
It's why Instagram all looks like Instagram.
this happens to me all the time. I'm like, this stuff is awesome, and people are like, no, it's just an app. You just push a button now, and you got
Yeah,
it.
dude.
Yep.
Yeah.
That thing I went to college for.
Take pictures with your phone now. Too.
What am I gonna do with this diploma? Hey, you want a new one? Make an app for that.
Take it. We're just going to white that out. What do you want it typed in to say?
So another observation I had about this show, if you check it out and it's not for you, this led me down the Disney Plus rabbit hole of all the documentaries they have.
Yes. I would recommend going back. Lisa showed me this one and watching the Yellowstone bears.
Oh, God.
Yeah?
Now, is this a National Geographic product?
Yes, but it was made in 1963.
Yes, but
this is a Disney
one.
This is
Disney
a
one,
Disney
okay.
1963.
So this is the Ozzie and Harriet
Bears documentary
Disney-ish.
thing.
Yeah. Back when they were just sending out camera crews to be around wild animals way too close with no union supervision at all or anything. And so I guess Yellowstone used to just let the bears gather where the cars back up as they're getting their tickets to get into the park. And these bears just swarm the cars, and it's of course Southern drawl narrator like, and these bears are going to get fed out of the car, and
It's probably not
that
best
one's
to
a
get
bit too close. And like this woman kisses this bear on the face, and that's too close for the
She
ranger.
holds it like this, like up in front of him, and kind of taunts him with it, and then kisses
And then
him
like
in the face
and then
as
like
she's
does
feeding
the like
him.
sneak in with a kiss.
You guys, and that all that the
And the-
narrator said
and the
was,
ranger
and that
moves.
was too close. Like, you do what? Yes, of course. They didn't have like all the bear documentary guy that got killed.
And there's like a sign of like, do not
maybe,
feed the
no.
bears with like, it's passing mention, and you probably shouldn't feed these folks. And like,
Don't do
the
it.
fuck?
All right.
Yeah, so you're just,
I'm staying at Kyle's house for the week. We're watching this tonight.
we went down to, so
Absolutely.
it sent us down a rabbit hole of bear deaths at national parks.
Oh, God.
Which was much higher back then, actually, as you would
You
imagine.
wouldn't believe that, but yeah.
Bear stories are crazy. I hate the tangent here, but I was just getting my car fixed one time, standing there, and the guy's like, we were in Montana last weekend, staying in this lodge. All of a sudden, bear walks through the front door.
What?
Concierge says, don't move. Bear walked through the lobby, exited out the back door. Craziest thing I've ever seen. Your car will be ready in a minute.
I would randomly tell everyone that for at least a week. Yes.
Only
Yeah.
me?
He was very calm about it.
Right?
You can tell he'd been fixing cars all day.
He had to talk about it to like let the stress out. This is how you release PTSD. And the way you talk about it, you take away its power.
So, speaking of these Disney Plus documentaries, did you guys get a chance to check out The Imagineers?
Yes.
So good.
That
Right?
has done the most amazing trick in the world. It has done something that nothing in Disney's marketing or advertising has ever pulled off. I want to go to Euro Disney.
Right?
Disney Paris, I'm sorry. I want to go to Disney Paris really badly now. And
but
I've
do you
never,
remember how much
never.
people hated
Yes.
Euro Disney when it came out?
That was
maybe
pretty
not.
wild.
I realize they
I thought
don't.
they closed it down. I
No,
was like,
I thought
they
so,
reopened.
too.
I mean, they closed it down and
looks
reopened
really
it. It's
cool.
Disneyland Paris. One of the many mistakes they realized they made, like not serving wine in it.
In France.
But I mean, I know the Imagineering thing is a documentary that is definitely spinning positive on all things Disney. But
It's a bit of an infomercial for sure.
yeah,
Yes.
but
it's entertaining.
at the same time, like, well, we laughed in like the first couple of episodes. They gloss over things like, and Walt grew tired of arguing with the unions in 1946, so he moved it. Like, wait, we're just gonna move on from that? Okay, cool.
It'll be fine.
It's fine.
Cool.
I'm sure nothing really happened.
What laws
It
of
was
Florida apply to Disney World? Like, yeah,
I did
there's
love,
a lot of glossed over stuff.
when the Euro Disney team was talking shit about the construction, and they're like, yeah, it's a beautiful sunny day here in France, and it's a national holiday. The sun has come out again, so that's why it's the middle of the afternoon, and nobody's working on our park.
Wouldn't this lovely park be great with workers?
Yeah.
Yeah,
How
it's
nice
just
would this
empty.
be?
So
Yeah.
I only saw one episode. Is every episode narrated by Angela Bassett? Because
Yes,
that is
sir.
phenomenal.
Yes.
Oh,
I would
yeah.
listen to Angela Bassett read my death sentence.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I think you'd have to.
Well, I'd enjoy it.
just hover there,
I will
half translucent.
I will say I noticed a criticism about creating content like this, which is when these documentary shorts or whatever type of wherever this content was originally that they're pulling from, whenever it was made, TV and movies were paced so much slower than they are now. So it's really hard to show one of those clips for context without it being like an excruciating, 80 seconds long or,
yeah.
like 80 seconds doesn't seem like a long amount of time, but it's when it's just somebody standing there pointing out a model. So you here's where the model's going to be.
Yeah.
Like it can, but you need it for the context. And if you have the patience for that, which I kind of like the exercise of like, I still got it. I can still sit here.
I've been
and
really amazed how
not
well
be
they've
bored.
sewn together the story of this into a documentary. I'm actually appreciating and not constantly going, oh, shut up, Disney infomercial. One of the first things that struck me is the director of this entire series is Leslie Iwerks, and I had to go look up. The only part of the story I remembered was that Ub Iwerks, her grandfather, and Disney had a huge falling out because Ub is the dude that drew Mickey, or took Walt's mouse drawing and made it into the iconic thing that's on everything at Disney now. And then drew most of the early cartoons, and then decided that he was tired of being the only one that drew shit. The story went that that they were at a kid's birthday party, and a kid walked up to Walt and said, "Draw Mickey," and Walt handed the pen and paper to Ub and said, "Do it." And then he threw the pen and paper down and walked out, and then he quit. But then he ended up coming back to Disney and working for years. So clearly they made back up. But when I saw her name come up, and I was like, if I remember right, the Iwerks family and the Disney family split like really early on, and had to go down a whole. I find almost every Disney Plus show has sent me down some kind of rabbit hole of like, what part of the story did I hear as a kid, and what's the rest of it?
And what's like urban legend? Because I feel
Yeah.
like you would just be at school talking with your friends, like, "Hey, did you know somebody died in Space Mountain?"
It's made me really appreciate, like, how what amounted for do you know information pre-internet. Like the one kid on the playground had half heard something about this somewhere.
We've all heard that rumor
Yeah.
of Marilyn Manson. I guarantee we heard that in
Oh yeah,
playgrounds across the United States.
yes,
What
yeah.
do you mean?
Oh,
It went out on like an
let's
all
Google
dog.
it, kids.
No, I am a big fan of the show. I'm also a big fan of the idea that.
I have no idea what that gesture meant.
Sorry, I'm really loud.
Okay.
Like you guys are all picked up in my mic.
Oh.
Oh no, if you look at my levels up there. Yeah. You want to just pause it for a sec?
Yeah.
Sorry, no, I noticed when you were talking me.
All right.
All right, testing 1 2, testing 1 2. I think that's already a lot better.
All right. Cool.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah. No problem.
How are you supposed to remember what we were talking about now, Kyle?
That's all right.
You want me to do the claps?
Actually, that'll help. Yeah. That'll help me know where that is.
2 good? You want 3?
We're good.
I mean, 2 claps happens all the time. Here, I'll give you 3 claps.
That was aggressive.
I'm marking my territory. The Imagineers.
Kyle's all hand clap band, dog pee.
What were we talking about?
The show The Imagineers. I think I had mentioned the pacing was kind of slow,
Yeah.
but that's kind of just a result of using all of that older
I think they
footage.
do. I think they do a good job of cutting back and forth between that because I know what you mean. If they're going to cut to like a bit of a documentary made about building Epcot in the 80s or something, it's just suddenly going to slow down and ladies and gentlemen, we're here.
So did you only see one episode?
I only saw the one. I saw the second episode, which was after Walt's death.
Yeah, so the Disney World episode.
Yeah. And it was like, there's a little bit, like, they do a really good job of, like, not making it seem like everyone was panicking when you know everyone was panicking.
Especially if you've ever like nerded out and read about what was happening on the animation side while like they're sticking to just the theme park stories on this. And when Walt died and Roy took over, the animation department flipped out. That's when Don Bluth quit and we got Secret of NIMH. And the whole animation department most of it went with him.
Yeah, wasn't it like a 10
when-
years of crappy movies
Yep.
followed by
Tim,
like 10 years of good movies?
Tim Burton was at Disney at that point. They made Frankenweenie and didn't release it. They made Black Cauldron and that's, yeah.
But that thing, theme park wise, I mean, while there was originally that period of chaos, they seem to have rallied quite well.
Yeah. I love that that the thread of this documentary seems to be what's happening with the Imagineers, like the WED company, whatever, Walt E. Disney company. And I think in the third one, they finally renamed them Walt Disney Imagineers or something like that. Because the third one is Eisner coming in. And this scary moment of like, there've been like 2 or 3 hostile takeover attempts, and that we've got to do this to survive. But do these guys get it at all? Like, can you just bring in an executive from Paramount and him get it? And I know they're like we said earlier. I know they're glossing over stuff, but it really does feel like Eisner comes in and is like, no, I'm a bigger, more excited Disney nerd than all of you here. We're doing this, and like they go nuts with it, and that's when. Granted, the hubris of it fucks Euro Disney up, but they go really hard at Euro Disney.
Disney Paris.
Disneyland Paris, which, oh my God, their whole Space Mountain looks like Jules Verne steampunk.
Oh my God, I
Yes,
want
it's
to go.
very cool.
Oh,
Yeah, that is pretty wild. Like,
Their Frontierland is
so cool
like
looking.
made island in the middle. It just looks nuts. I want to go so.
Like, I never wanted to go to Disney. Paris,
No, if I made it to
ever.
Europe, there's like if I get to Paris, I'm not going to
I
Disney.
didn't want to go to Disneyland before either, because I mean I've already
No,
been to Disney
yeah.
World, but now I want to go to Disneyland. I want to go to Disney World again and go back to the Epcot Center because that Epcot Center is so cool.
Game changer.
So-
Game changer.
As a little kid, I get to go through like all the different countries and see all the different, and I grew up in Kentucky. I'm not gonna see that.
I say this without kids in the house, like just watching Disney Plus as an adult. If I cannot imagine trying to get through this series and not have to book a family vacation to Disney. Like your kids will never shut up.
Oh yeah, that's why it's a giant infomercial.
Yeah. Oh, this is definitely making some Disneyland, Disney World.
Which is what they did in the beginning, as we saw in episode 1, right? They used, was it NBC or CBS to pay for part of their park if they would put a show on Saturday.
Mhm.
And they just talked about their park. So they're like going back to their roots.
Interesting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like It's a Small World was built for an expo, and like
Oh, we'll reuse
the
it.
expo paid for it and did all the testing.
The technology is really cool,
Yeah.
though. And
Yeah, one of my favorite story beats was when they were working on the animatronic Abe Lincoln, because there's so many challenges to get that to work. And then the second they got it to work, it's like, all right, now you have to make everything animatronic.
Yep.
So it's like, the reward for success is never-ending work.
I think the next episode they talk about doing Tokyo Disney and the assumption that, you'll just send the plans over and we'll build these robots. And they were like, that'd be cool if there were plans. But what we do have is a bucket of robot parts and 12 people who will just walk over, grab random crap, and eventually you have Lincoln. And like that's how all of these, each thing was its.
but everybody was busy on Epcot at that
Yeah.
same time because they were also building Epcot.
But I love how everything was a one-off. Like everything was a new challenge and special. Every robot or every animatronic outdid the last one, so they were all different. And I think it wasn't until the Twilight Zone ride that they drew anything on AutoCAD or had anything that wasn't a completely hand-drawn plan that, like, God don't fire Bob.
I'm wondering, where are these plans? Like, how are these not being sold, like, in frames and art galleries and stuff like that? Just page after page
Disney's
of these
got
drawings.
some Vatican-level shit going on.
Nick Cage is going to unearth this stuff in a few years.
Yeah, you'll find on the copy of Fantasia a map to get to the parts and the plans. You can find it if you look real carefully.
So has anybody watched, I mean, I know I've watched the first one, but Encore with Kristen Bell?
I've not watched it.
I have watched all three. I've done my homework.
So I can't believe how charming that show is.
Okay.
I was surprised. I'm granted, I only watched
You
the
don't feel
first
that way
one.
and you watched 3 of them?
I did get
This
through
is actually
3 of
on brand
them.
for Kyle.
But I thought you would have a different first comment.
You know, I didn't want to watch it. Kristen Bell is charming enough that I was willing to hit play on it, but
I'm a little disappointed in the amount of Kristen Bell.
See, that's what I thought.
And then
your
there was
first
really
comment
not
gonna
a
be.
lot of her. When she
Especially
pops in at the end and she acts like she's been watching them the whole time, like, from where? It's like, you have some, like, FBI florist fan level surveillance going on. You were nowhere close to this.
She's only in that first episode.
Are you kidding?
She doesn't pop in on 2 and 3.
They
What?
need to take her off the cover.
I was telling Dimitri, it's like if they called Masterpiece Theater Laura Linney Presents Theater. It's like, she's barely in this. She's like 2 seconds.
So what is the conceit of the show?
So, high school theater, right? Everybody had a production their senior year. They pick a school that has clearly done a play that Disney owns the rights to. And they get I really want to know what the threshold number is for when they'll decide to do the school, but they get some kind of critical mass of the cast back to do it again 10 years later.
Okay.
Or 20,
Or 20 years later or whatever.
That's interesting.
So I think episode 1 is like 20 years later.
1996, class of 96
Yeah.
got together, which I graduated in
That was
97,
that was my
so that
senior
like,
year, so that was
let's
funny.
do
You can go
this.
back 20 years to 1996 is a sentence that hurts me.
It does. It
Oh,
hurts.
no. 20, almost 24
yeah.
years
Right.
now.
Yeah. Wow.
And
wow.
and then the next episode I think is a different generational one, but they get them back together, and so you get the confessional behind the, where are these people up to now?
So and so were dating,
Yeah,
but
they were
didn't
the
work
prom
out.
king and queen, and they never spoke. Like the people that are
He
shocked of,
almost
like, you never spoke to them again after high school. Nope, right after graduation, never spoke to them again. Like that kind of stuff, and
Here I am. honey.
The girl in
they're all pitchy as hell, and
It's not great.
no,
Yeah, like Whitney Houston when she tried to do that new song in 2009.
and like no.
I don't even know that
I envy your ignorance.
Okay. I won't go look for
Don't.
it then.
The second episode had a girl who could sing really well, and you're like, how is she not a professional? She's like, I got pregnant right after this,
Right.
and it's like, oh yeah, I guess you're not going to be a singer.
Because the first episode has a lady that like moved to New
Went
York
to
and
New
really
York.
tried to do it, and she's like, it'll still happen, and no,
Oh, honey, no.
it's not that
Oh.
not based on this production of Annie.
You're selling me on this show right now.
Honestly, more Kristen Bell would help this immensely.
Well, and the reason I saw 3 episodes is because I hacked the secret of it. All right.
That.
It's the same thing you do with HGTV shows. If you can fast forward to see it after the remodel, maybe you just skip through a couple parts of them tearing out kitchen sinks and stuff. So I saw all the performances, but I might have did a 1-2 skip a few during a couple of the confessional scenes.
The most fun time for me is in the first episode is the original theater teacher. Like they bring their original drama teacher back and give her a role because they bring in professionals. Like there's a fill in of like 8 or 10 extra people to do extra roles and crew and stuff. And these folks like work in musical theater for a living. And I would love a separate show about their annoyance with
Oh, yeah.
with
No, I
these
think we
people
should
that are like,
focus
I
more
can't really
on
dance. With these people like, can we just do this?
get through this
Yeah.
shit.
I am a consummate professional. I can't deal with this.
Yeah. I would love a separate show just about how they're bitching in the break room.
I think that the show is perfectly fine for people who enjoy reality television.
That's probably where
So-
I'm lacking my
And if you're
understanding
not
of how to
into
view.
that, then I mean, probably the same thing. Like the people who like the the Antiques Roadshows or
Mm-hmm.
the home. I think you're right on the money with the before and the after.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, if that is your thing and you find yourself a little bored with this, Making It Season 2 is coming back with Nick Offerman and Amy
nice.
Poehler.
See, and I'm just glad that got a season 2. I didn't think it had.
Oh,
and
I'm
I loved
way
that.
more puns, it looks like. I am excited.
So that's their crafting show.
Yeah.
for
No,
those
it's
who haven't seen.
NBC crafting TV show. Same style, but what it does kind of like this is it finds a way to bring in. I don't know if it's disrespectful to call them amateurs, but these Etsy crafts people, and kind of like with the theater show, they're amateurs, but they all perform this stuff in high school, so they're not like brand new to it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's definitely can these people pull it off in 1 week? Like put them under the gun. Like let's see what they got, and then at the end, everything comes together.
Yeah.
Has there been? I mean, does it though come together?
Actually, on the Making It show, somebody always fucks up. Oh, the worst. Sorry, tangent. Worst was this woman. Oh my gosh, it's like episode 1, and she's making this thing, and she's like, I'm going to cut up this family quilt that I've had forever. She's an older woman, too.
Oh, that was bad.
Yeah,
I
I'm
remember
going
that
to
in
cut up
season
this
1.
family quilt that I've had for. Not only does she mess it up, she pricks her finger when she messes it up. So she's cut this thing up. Her thing is falling apart. She's got blood everywhere. And then the judges have to go, I don't think it came together.
It really looked. Yeah. No, that hurt. That hurt. I remember that one.
Oh,
yeah.
It was awful.
Yeah, Making It is a bit Great British Bake Off with a glue gun. But Encore could stand more Kristen Bell for sure.
America's jewel, really.
Really, truly.
Well, I was trying to play devil's advocate. Well, what if, let's say that was the premise. So you're like, oh, you're going to be on this show where Kristen Bell watches you act that thing you did in high school.
I wonder if they realized that like half the cast weren't coming back of like, no, I don't want to. That sounds a little bit too much like
That's
Troy
like-
meeting LeVar Burton. I'm not doing that. No.
Like Donald Glover said for Lion King, I wrote it into my contract that I didn't have to sing in the same room as Beyonce.
I'll do it, but like a week later with a different engineer, please.
Yeah.
So I feel like we should touch on a show that though it's not really been on any of our radar, I got to speak to Valerie Ortiz, who plays the mom on Gabby. I personally watched a stupid amount of Disney Channel shows when I was a kid. I definitely did my time with Kids Incorporated and had a soft spot for those kinds of shows. And when I first looked into Gabby to do research for talking to Valerie, I remember thinking, man, if I was like that Snick age of like, Are You Afraid of the Dark? And that guy, I would be all friggin' over this. It's basically a show about a kid who's going to be a babysitter, and turns out they're all aliens.
Oh.
Like you do.
Yeah, it's generally that much fun.
But
And
Dimitry can talk more about it because you're a staff writer
I
on
am a
it.
staff writer on Gabby Duran, The Unsittables. It is so much fun. It is easily the best job I've ever had in my entire life. Basically, Les pretty much nailed it. Girl moves over from, her name is Gabby, obviously. Gabby moves over from Miami to a little joint called Havensburg, quiet, know-nothing town. Nothing like the excitement of Miami. At first, she hates it. She wants to leave. She tries to get herself expelled early in the pilot, only to find out that this town is a haven, if you will, for aliens. Like every single race of alien that needs a place to hide. Maybe they're running from something. Maybe they just want to try out Earth. Maybe they're interested in training on how to be a leader. They're here in Havensburg, hiding out in plain sight. Many of them have kids, and sometimes the parents want to go out and have a night on the town, or they have a responsibility to maintain their cover, and they need a babysitter. And that's where Gabby Duran, the best babysitter in the galaxy, comes in, and hijinks ensue. We have so much fun.
It kind of reminds me a little bit of that show Erie, Indiana.
It's got a similar vibe to it.
Oh, I loved Erie, Indiana.
We've talked about this
Tupperware
before.
Episode. I'm never gonna not.
Yeah.
I need to send you the link to this because we talked about it before. You know that there's a parallel dimension spinoff of that show.
Oh, what?
There's another Erie, Indiana. They made a second Erie, Indiana show that is through a portal from the first one to a parallel world from it. Yeah, I'll have to find it and send you the link.
Is this like on YouTube? Or?
It's on either Crackle or Tubi or one of the How Is This a Channel channels.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
I'm into it already.
Yeah.
Also, that kid, he's not doing anything right now, right?
Yeah, he's not.
Bring him back.
Right.
Maybe he has
Reboot
a kid.
this.
Oh, dude. What if they grew up
Yeah.
and they lived right next door to each other? Like their whole lives?
Oh, the sparks are going off. That could work.
No, it's not.
Or actually, wait a second. Dimitry, could that work?
You know, I could see something there. I can see something that I think that's a good segue into like the things that I enjoy about the show. Pretty much all of us who work on the show have some influence on the show touches on so many areas. It's either you're into sci-fi or into coming of age stories, and we can blend them all so well with characters that we come up with, or storylines that we draw out for Gabby and her alien friends. Like if you're inspired by anything sci-fi or maybe something you watch on the Disney Channel, there's room for us to explore and play with that on the show. We have so much fun coming up with ideas. Every day is amazing.
I saw a meme go around this week that was Men in Black was an awesome movie until I realized they're just space ice. and it really kind of gut punched me on my memories of Men in Black. I was like, oh, fuck. But that just kind of made me realize, like, oh, wow, Gabby Duran gets that same, oh, look at all these aliens, Men in Blackness across, but you don't have to be rooting for the ice agents in it.
Exactly. You know what? Maybe an immigration parallel might be interesting to do. We haven't toyed with that idea yet, but we'll think about it.
If somebody told me there was a movie called Space Ice starring Tommy Lee Jones, I'd be like, that makes sense. Right? Yeah.
I would have the most difficult time not calling that movie Spice.
Right? And isn't that like, I'm just thinking drugs. Space ice is like some
Or
sort
like,
of weird
it's
drug
Dune
that the
reboot.
Street, the kids on the street are calling it or whatever.
Space
Street
Ice.
name of smack or something.
Space Ice sounds like a good time. Sorry, Disney Channel.
Probably can't do that on the show.
Right. Maybe not. And it's for,
It's a very special episode in Gabby and her space ice problem.
Oh,
So
man.
you guys never get to like, what was it? What was that sitcom that just had like out of nowhere had the Maytag Man molestation episode? Is that Good Times that did that?
Are you having a stroke?
I think so.
You know what I'm
smell
talking
toast?
about. The Stroke? No, the TV show. Okay. My question, since I can't remember my reference, how far do you guys get with like, I don't know, danger, or do you keep it pretty lighthearted?
You know, we try to do a fun balance of, your standard coming of age story with an alien twist on it. But we also like to have the idea of, aliens are a thing. Not all aliens are kind. Some aliens are here to cause mischief. Some aliens are here to take over the planet. We try to have a nice balance of malevolent aliens, benevolent aliens, and aliens who are just trying to do something different outside of their home planet. So, thanks.
So when you were going for this job, going for writing jobs in general, were you aiming for fun, lighthearted kids fare? I mean, or were you walking around with a Breaking Bad spec script and you this just worked out?
That's my favorite question of all, because it's just like I had never thought of it. I never considered kids TV. Not that I ever thought like, oh, I'm too good for kids TV, because I'm not. It's just like I'd never thought of it. The shows that I enjoy are typically Michael Schur type shows, or Dan Gore shows, Parks and Recreation, or Brooklyn Nine-Nine, The Good Place. I also, I used to lobby for the government, so Veep and that kind of thing is. HBO comedies are also my speed. But when this one was brought to me by my agent, and I looked into it, I looked into what they were trying to do, and I looked at the few episodes that they sent me. I was like, this is I'm not the target demographic for this thing, and I'm out here laughing out loud at some of these amazing jokes that are coming through. It's giving me good, pleasant memories of like when I used to watch Lizzie McGuire, Jet Jackson, or even Stevens. It's that same kind of fun, coming of age, kid type humor that works across the board. And I think the strength of it comes from the fact that we don't write down to our audience. We write in a way that respects their intelligence. And that allows us to reach more and more people. Kids or not, adults or not, anyone who's interested in sci-fi is going to get something from this show.
Well,
That's great.
I hope
7
people will give it a
seasons
shot.
in a movie.
Well,
Let's
they've already
start
got
it now.
their,
How many
they got their
seasons?
second before the first even came out.
Yeah, so I'm writing on season 2. I've not written anything on season 1, but season 1 I'm watching just for enjoyment, honestly,
Right.
because I'm just.
I'm going to look into it.
It's really good.
Sounds fun. I love aliens.
You can find it. You can watch it 9 p.m. on Fridays on the Disney Channel, or anytime on the Disney Now app. We're not on Disney Plus yet, but
What?
No, it's bizarre. But I don't.
Does that
not.
come?
That is not the part of the business I
Yeah,
control.
I think they're slowly
You need to
figuring out.
I'm going to write a complaint.
I think they're slowly figuring out how to roll Disney Channel and Disney Now and all these
Yeah.
things together. Because even on the Disney Plus app, and actually we should mention that one of the things that has driven me a little bit nuts on it is that they got super excited and put the thumbnail pictures for like everything that's going to be on that app for the next 2 years. But some of those things are not there yet. So if you go to like National Treasure, it's going to be on. It says like coming to Disney Plus like August 2020 or something like that. And like Adventures in Babysitting is like 2 years away. And it's just weird
Is it in
that
the
they're.
vault, but we can see it?
I'm like, just take the
Evil.
friggin' thumbnail down. But I mean, it's a selling. Like, I get why they're doing it, but
Stay signed up.
I'm always a little amazed at. I don't know when you see between the seams on the growing pains of a company trying to consolidate this stuff together.
Yeah. Well, I definitely, with the Imagineers, with Encore, they have this like wide, options for documentaries. They're probably going to have more reality type content, like the Jeff Goldblum show. Can we call it
the
the
musical,
Kristen?
the series, the musical, the series?
Yeah, I just think they need to like take her off the thumbnail. They need to put
This
like
is your big sticking point.
No, but it was with me too. I said that.
Mm-hmm. She
Out loud,
literally she
though.
pops
Like,
into the very
what
last
that
scene.
was like.
Wow.
Like,
That's
is that all
it.
he is?
And she like there's a little bit of voiceover, but that's it.
Well,
maybe more voiceover.
Maybe
that
more
would work.
voiceover.
Narrated by Kristen Bell.
But it's a bit like if Goldblum just wasn't in the show.
yes, or like he at the beginning he Laura Linney's it, and he's like, "Welcome."
Today we're going to talk
I
about
made a
sneakers.
documentary.
And now I hand you off to the
Watch it.
lovely folks at Adidas.
let me spin it to you this way. You saw Encore. You saw Kristen Bell. You watched it.
Mhm.
Mission accomplished.
I mean,
Oh yeah, they're not going to change it. They won. They totally
if
won.
anything, they'll just put her on more of it.
Right?
She's the
Yes.
fentanyl to the to
Oh,
like the
God.
controlled Disney
Where are
substance.
we going?
Yeah,
It
yeah,
only
like
takes a little bit of Kristen Bell to kill someone. You didn't know that?
I know, yeah.
Yeah.
And they're like peppering it in there. We don't even know until it's too late.
There are worse ways to die.
There really are. I know that. All right. Well, that's really about everything that
We
we
didn't
can
have
talk about on
any
Disney Plus.
questions for this week.
We did not.
We didn't put out a question
We
post.
did not. I did not look. We
And
may
we-
have questions.
We're not going to
That
make
is
them
the
up
question.
like we do sometimes. I'm kidding. We never do
Can I ask
that.
a question? Can
You
I force
can.
A question?
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah,
there we go.
We are approaching the end of a decade. Now, I know.
Oh,
there's-
shit, we
you're-
are.
You're probably going to do a best of the decade episode because that's what you guys do. Not ranking it, but just what is one show that's definitely going to make your best of the decade list?
Good place. You named it.
Right on. Good pick.
Ooh.
Why are you going to take the easy one?
I know. I was
I mean,
like,
That's
it's,
the
it's,
question.
it's inarguable. Like I don't have to worry if I'm just too excited about that show right now. Like like Randy was sure that Watchmen, like halfway through the first episode, was as good as Good Place, and he's probably going to be proven out right. But we were like, dude, you're 45 minutes into this whole series. It
How
can't be there
many?
yet.
How many do we get for the best of? Are we talking
I-
top 50, top 100? Are we talking top 10?
I
think
know.
that's a valid question.
Okay, well, let's say you have to make a top 10 list of the
Okay.
best of the decade.
Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad's definitely going to make the list.
Yeah,
That
for
makes sense.
sure.
I think defining the decade, Game of Thrones, is going to be something people talk about, even if some people don't like the way it ended.
All right. So what's one everybody's got
What about Lost,
that
then?
has no critical
I
or
don't know,
not really
that-
have the critical mass?
That kind of that
You know, that's
spans
another one
both
that
decades.
ended Oh, did it start in the 90s?
Maybe not.
Are
When
you
did it
sure?
end?
No.
No, not the 90s, but it started in the aughts.
It
Because
started
we're
in the
just
aughts.
talking
Oh, we're talking
10 to 20.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you guys! I keep forgetting how old I am.
Mm-hmm.
I keep thinking
Time
this
comes
is.
right for you, and it never stops.
I was like, cool, we'll be in the teens.
So in terms of
Where have I been
a
the last 9 years? Oh my God!
in terms of a show that didn't get. I mean, like Good Place is going to make everybody's critics list. Breaking Bad is going to make everybody's critics list. Game of Thrones. What's a show that you're super glad you watched this past decade?
Trial and Error.
I will give you that. That show is fantastic.
Did not get enough respect. That show was incredible. It was perfect through both seasons. And one day we will rue the day that we did not appreciate Trial and Error.
Yes, people should go to also check out our Austin Film Fest interview with Nora Nolan, who wrote on the show, and she talks a lot about how they put that together and just how wild that whole thing was.
Thanks for the plug, Dimitri.
There you go.
No, if I could only have one, I feel pretty confident about this. Fargo. All seasons.
*Halt and Catch Fire*.
Good pick.
Good one.
That flew under the. I mean, it was consistently regarded as a great show. They were doing great work, but I didn't see it just burn up the charts or anything. But I cried my eyes out in the series finale of I couldn't believe how affecting and how connected to those characters I was.
Sorry, did I cut you off?
I would say Black Mirror, but is that too obvious?
Ooh.
I feel like that's going to make a lot of lists, but it's your
Yeah.
answer. You can say whatever you
I
want.
mean, it's like my favorite. It's so good.
I was going to say another British show,
Oh yeah, I like British things.
Downton Abbey.
Mm.
I mean, yeah, it's good.
I'm a fan.
No, I'm just kidding. It's great.
It goes down in my house.
Oh, okay.
That's what I do whenever they get into a passive aggressive argument.
Oh, it's going.
I grip the pillow and I'm like, shit's going down.
Oh my God.
Is this what he does? Is this what he does with
No,
Yes.
this thing?
I just met him tonight. So.
That Downton Abbey thing is for real. I will yell at the screen and I'll be like, how dare you enter the room dressed like that.
What I appreciate about Kyle is I've been his friend for 10 years now. Actually, the best of the decade. You'd make my friendship list, man.
As you would.
That's what he appreciates
at
about
like
you.
number 10, but
Yeah.
Hey, that's a good spot.
He's
Holding
Like
it down.
MySpace with the top. You had to rank
Your
all
top
your
8.
friends.
but the Kyle that you get in real life is the same Kyle you get on mic. So if you like this guy, be his friend in real life. It's the same dude.
You're like an ant, trying to get me a date.
Much like Goldblum, he's always Kyle.
Yeah.
And on that note, I think we can wrap it up. So
TV Dude's out.
The TV Dudes is an independently run podcast and a member of the Electric Sweater Podcast Network. We are exclusively listener supported. If you'd like to help us out, go to patreon.com/tvdudes. You can like us on Facebook and Twitter @TV Dudes. All the music for our show is by our friend and original TV Dude, Gregory J. Amani Smith. To find out more about us, go to thetvdudes.com and electricsweater.com. I'm Grant Davis. Thanks for listening.